Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley newspaper football writer, joined by Fred J. Robledo, the San Gabriel Valley Tribune's prep sports editor. Freddie, we have a huge one taking place in the inland. Coming up on Thursday night.
You don't want to be second place in the Sierra, do you?
No, you don't. And that is what we're talking about here, the Sierra League Championship. Charter Oak, 8-1 overall, 4-0 on the road, taking on Chino Hills, the defending champion. Freddie, I mean, we were speculating here that they may have won it 4 years in a row or something.
Yeah, I think they're going for their fourth.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. The Huskies this year, 6-3, 4-0 in league, hence the league title game. Freddie, this is a big one. Well, okay, before we get into that, let me set this up by saying Kurt Scobie, who was injured in the game last week against Damien, he is questionable. I call him doubtful, Fred. This is a short week. I talked to Coach Lou Farrar. He's going to get treatment on the ankle all week. The tough thing is he's probably not going to practice all week. He was on crutches all weekend. I mean, come on. When you hear that and you hear cold weather and all this stuff, I just don't see Scobie playing. Do you?
Well, it looked pretty bad when he left the field on Friday night.
No break, though. No break.
Yeah, I was right. He couldn't even put pressure on that foot when they were carrying him off. I'm going to assume that he's not playing on Friday night. And the difference between Charter Oak and other teams, this isn't like Bishop Lamont losing Jalen Moore or South Hills losing, who's their running back real quick? Jamel Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are the backbones of their team. Kurt Scobie's important, but I think you've even mentioned it too, Aaron. They have other guys they can drop in the backfield and probably do a good job for him. And at the end of the day, this is going to come down to Travis Santiago. He's the leader of that team. He's the one who's trying to lead them to their first Sierra League title. And let's face it, Travis, we just mentioned all those league titles that Chino Hills has won. I bet they don't have a CIF championship ring like Travis Santiago has.
Right.
He won that when he was a sophomore. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
And what a way for him to go out his senior year. Forget what happens in the inland, but to take care of the Sierra, the league that Charter Oak was put in last year that people said they probably couldn't compete in. Well, on Friday night, they're going to have a chance to win it outright and do it undefeated. Right.
Now, Fred, the Scobie situation does have a chain reaction because he's also a starting cornerback. Mm-hmm. Now, Donovan Washington, who's also a sophomore like Scobie, will have to, they trade off usually. If one's playing running back on offense, the other one will be the cornerback.
And Aaron Vaughn can play running back if they need it. He's also a guy
the guy who will step in is Kari Garcia, but he's also playing safety. So now they're not going to be able to switch off with Washington and Scobie at corner and at running back. Washington will probably have to do some of both. I mean, he'll probably play corner full-time and running back part-time and split carries with Kari Garcia. Both those guys are good. I think Washington's going to be a monster, Freddie. But they're probably not to Scobie's level yet. And I think that definitely hurts Charter Oak because you lose that kind of explosive balance that they have. Now, on the flip side, Chino Hills, this is a team, Fred, that's getting it done with size.
Yeah.
They obviously can lean on Charter Oak a little bit here. That's going to be something big that Charter Oak has to overcome. And when you don't have one of your fastest guys in Scobie, overcoming that size advantage with speed gets a little more difficult.
And let's face it, the Charter Oak really hasn't faced anything with that kind of size or that kind of speed since Rancho Cucamonga.
Since then.
I thought Damien made him work a little bit, but they're still able to put up a lot of points. I think you're right. We're finally going to really see what Charter Oak does under some pressure because defensively, Chino Hills is probably the best team in the Sierra League, pure defensively. They shut down South Hills,
Damien in the second half,
and Damien in the second half, and those teams are teams that are scoring a lot of people. Yeah. So when you talk about defense winning championships, they probably have the best defense, but Charter Oak has the best offense. I just think Charter Oak's offense is just a little bit better than Chino Hills' defense.
Well, you saw Damien have success on Chino Hills.
Yeah, and I think Charter Oak's defense is a little underrated. I think they're getting better now towards the end of the year. They're hitting a lot harder. They're getting to the ball a lot better. I thought against Damien.
Secondary's
Damien scored 2 touchdowns late in the second half. Otherwise, they held them in check pretty much throughout. They held South Hills in check pretty much throughout. South Hills got some of their points later on in the game.
Yeah,
so.
And other weapons abound for Charter Oak on offense, Fred. You still have Gilchrist. You mentioned Vaughns.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobo. I mean, they got weapons. I mean, they're not, and obviously Santiago.
Yeah.
But this does kind of even things up because I thought Charter Oak would win this game comfortably if they had Scobie. Now that they don't,
I never thought it was going. I never thought it was going to be comfortably.
Because I think they're going to get ahead of Chino Hills, and Chino Hills has a hard time throwing from behind. Jack Austin is a very good junior wide receiver. He caught the game winner against Damien. Andrew Chavez, when he's got to throw, when they ask him for big plays, he usually delivers. Now, you got to remember, Andrew Chavez was on the field last year as the quarterback against Corona Centennial. This guy's got experience.
And that's another thing. He's a gamer. The thing about Chino Hills, in the 2 years that we've had covering him, when they've had these big game situations, backs against the wall, games that you have to win or really get up for, they play well in them. Even
especially
the game,
at home.
Especially at home. Even that game that you just mentioned last year against Corona. I mean, they were really strong against them. They're not going to be intimidated or anything facing Charter Oak.
Well, why would they, Fred? They played Tesoro.
I mean,
they played Redlands East Valley.
They played an incredible preseason.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
And, God, it sets up to be such a good game. We're going to get into predictions and
well, I already said mine. I'm taking Charter Oak.
Yeah,
close.
I like Charter Oak close too.
Yeah.
There's no way that I think it's going to be a blowout, but
I said Charter Oak close comfortably if Scobie played and was healthy.
Yeah,
but close now that he's not.
I just think Travis is too much of an X factor. I've seen him a few times now, and I'm just convinced he's the best offensive weapon in the area, and I don't really even think it's that close right now.
Okay, all right. So Fred's got Charter Oak close. I've got Charter Oak close, but anything can happen, man. When you get on the road, you get out to Chino Hills country and Husky country, man. They bring a good crowd.
Tommy Kiss is guaranteeing a Chino Hills victory.
Yeah, well, that could happen, man. I mean, this is Chino Hills. I mean, they're the league champs, Fred. I mean, you got to beat them to take it, and they're playing well at the right time of year. So get out there on Thursday night. Tommy Kiss will be out there with the video. Mike the Cousin will be out there likely with the Cover It Live. We're going to have this thing covered pretty well. It's going to be a great game. Charter Oak 8-1, Chino Hills 6-3, both undefeated in league championship in the Sierra League coming up, and hopefully a nice playoff seed for the winner. Get out there on Thursday night and enjoy it. Thank you for watching.